impact your life, your wallet, your security. Join Stephen Matheson, Selvin Mitchell, and Ronaldo Rollux, 3 employment law and human resource management consulting professionals, as they unpack the complexities, analyze the power plays, and reveal the often hidden realities. Understand the game. Understand your role in it. The Third Umpire, critically analyzing Trinidad and Tobago's economic and political realities on how they affect your daily lives. Tune in Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. on The Street 919 FM. Don't just listen to the news. Understand it.
You are listening to The Street 919 FM. Stay with us for news, interviews, and commentary that shape our democracy. Street 919 FM, the official station that defends the nation. Follow The Street 919 FM on all social platforms at The Street 919 FM.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of The Street 919 FM.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are on the Third Umpire, and today in studio is myself, Stephen Matheson, and Simoya Sandiford. Good evening to all our listeners around the world that listens to us. I understand we have listeners as far as France now.
Papa. France.
All our listeners around the world.
Good stuff.
New York, Miami, London, Africa, and now someone told me that they listen to us in France. Just got off a ship actually.
All right. Hello, France.
So good evening, and good evening to all those who are now driving home. Today is a sunny day in Port of Spain. Driving home from work, obviously in traffic because it's still rush hour.
Yes.
And you are listening to us. This is the Third Umpire, and of course our show is coined using the cricket analogy, and we say that the batting side is the government in office and the fielding side the opposition. We like to ask how the batting going. Well, we talk more about the batting than the fielding, because usually in a game of cricket what excites you the most is the batting. So we talk more about the batting than the fielding, but sometimes they are really exciting feeling, incredible feeling sometimes, and we need to talk about it also. The feeling side would have been batting at one time. We was not here when we were the commentators when they were batting, but they did put some runs on the board, but in the end they were bowled out. So we are here commentating, or not so much umpiring the game. So we are given a different kind of analysis from the umpire. We saying who out, what runs you make, if it's real runs, you know, that kind of thing. That's our job here. So Simoya and I, umpire Simoya is in a square leg today. I am behind the wicket, and we are here to give you our analysis of the runs and how the runs are put on the board. Usually we would look at issues. We would usually look at the issues of the day. Those issues that are usually in the news headlines, and we discuss them, and we ask you to join us, to chime in and tell us what are your perspective on the issue. What are your perspective if it was really a 4, or if the ball was on the line and the fielder didn't cross the line when he saved the ball on the line. So good evening. And Simoya, we see that crime seems to be dominating the headlines still.
Absolutely.
To a large extent, but we see also the batting side is making some incredible efforts.
Absolutely.
To stem the crime wave, or the usual crime wave, because this is not something new to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
And the feeling side did do some of that too. Where the efforts landed, we are all here to judge. At this time of the year, last year, and the years before, we were almost on about 600 murders. Yeah, we were on the later side of
Wow.
600. So we are still
Wow.
in, I would say, a place that 300 murders is too much.
Of course. Of course.
One is too much. It shouldn't be. We shouldn't be having murders. But it is happening still. You know, you have greedy people. You have all kind of people doing all kind of different things, and that is dangerous to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And a government, you put a government in office. That government, the role of that government is to apart from all other things that they are responsible for, to create a safe environment for the citizens by doing certain things, by creating legislation,
Yeah.
by having good policing and all the other things, national defense and every other thing. And clearly this government, this new Baton side, has been doing or is trying some new ideas, new things. And those things that they are trying, they're getting some licks for it, but they're trying it anyway.
Yes.
And nothing wrong in trying it, in my opinion. It is the ideas that haven't been tried in Trinidad and Tobago, and to some extent, some of the things that they are trying was already there, but it was not, the legislation wasn't strong enough to deal with it. So that we now have a situation where the government is trying to even the playing field, so that every single citizen will have the right to protect themselves and their home and their family and their property.
Yep.
And that is the end game. I also saw that a lot of comments were being made about the U.S. intervention in Trinidad and Tobago and intended intervention in Venezuela. And, you know, a lot of questions are being asked. But what I saw with the captain of the Baton side in recent times, she's indicating that she is not against Venezuela.
Yeah.
What her concern is really, and should be, is drugs, human trafficking, and all the other things that goes with it. And she keeps saying that now, whether they believe that or not, because a lot of people may have issues with that, based on what she would have said in the early stages of the game. Whether I believe that or not, that is her mantra now, and not only her mantra now, but I mean, people are saying the U.S., there was a sighting of a U.S. C-17 in Tobago and all that kind of thing. But the Prime Minister is sticking to her guns, and she's saying that her focus is narcotics, illegal narcotics, drugs, and the prevention or the interdiction of said. And if she's getting help from the U.S. to do so, she's going to gladly accept it.
Yes.
She's also saying, inter alia, that the talk of the U.S. invasion for other things in Venezuela, she has little or no knowledge of it. She hasn't been briefed on that, and that is what she's saying. Some people don't believe that. Some people believe it. Some people is looking to see what's happening, right? But all of that, in my opinion, and in her opinion, and in most of the nation's opinion, is going to work or redound to the reduction of crime and criminal activity in Trinidad and Tobago. And that is the end game.
Yeah.
Right? In my opinion. But one of the things that is making severe headlines, it hasn't stopped since they came into office, because it was one of the campaign promises, is the Home Invasion and Self-Defense Act.
Yeah.
Some call it the Stand Your Ground legislation.
Yeah.
That is something that is making serious headlines, and lots is generating a lot of discussion.
Absolutely.
The people of Trinidad and Tobago, and maybe we should spend some time talking about it today.
That. Yeah.
Right? But what is your position on that piece of legislation? Because that piece of legislation in particular, the bill was passed yesterday.
Yeah.
That piece of legislation will or should bring some relief to homeowners, all things being equal, meaning that they have the adequate protection to do what they need to do to protect themselves in their homes. What is your position on it?
Well, I think it is generating a lot of debates. We have to face our reality, what is even bringing about this situation in the first place. And I would say that I do commend the government on taking a position on the matter, because home invasions didn't just start. It's been happening. And maybe we would look and say, well, they put other crimes above that situation, but it has been happening. And the reality is that it's even more frightening because people are blaming the fact that people are without jobs and almost justifying why these situations are happening. But the reality is that our citizens are living in fear. You don't know when, something is going to happen. These intruders are not afraid to attack elderly. They're not afraid to attack children. They are not afraid of the circumstances, even knowing or not knowing if someone may have a firearm in their homes. They are not concerned about that. And so the arguments that's being sparked, in my view, sometimes I wonder, where our thinking really is. Now, this week, it was in the newspaper, a permanent secretary of a ministry was a victim of that type of home invasion and robbery.
Every day you're hearing it.
Every day you are hearing it.
More and more of it.
And it's getting closer and closer to home.
People are getting more and more brazen, but this is not something, while it seems to be for people, like you, this is kind of like something new, but it happens. There are periods or time in perennial. It's a kind of perennial thing. So there are particular time in Trinidad and Tobago when you find a lot of that happens. Right? Like at Christmas time and Carnival time and thing. Not just home invasion, but a lot of
that type of crime.
And that kind of thing.
That type of crime.
Yeah, that type of crime. But it's getting more and more prevalent. And it is serious, and we need to do something about it. The criminals must know that
it wouldn't be tolerated.
It's not a free thing anymore. Somebody could send it to heaven or hell,
whichever way. Well, yeah. I doubt it's heaven in that moment.
Could send you home. And that is critical.
I think we should point out, even before we go, because there are arguments for and against it, and we will get into that part. But let's look at the key provisions of this bill. The home invasion now carries a $500,000 fine and 20 years imprisonment. Number 2, there are harsher penalties. A $750,000 fine and 25-year imprisonment will apply to gang members, organized criminals, or offenders acting in the presence of a child, a senior person with a disability, or other vulnerable individuals.
So you can't come in front of a man's house again and intimidate him?
No.
You can't come in the yard and...
Especially considering those circumstances, because it's additional trauma.
You like to come in the yard and with a cutlass and intimidate you and...
Well, we're going to get to that. We have to get to that part. Because you were asking me some weeks ago, what if you and the man together and all you break up? He can't just come in the house at night anymore?
Well, he's not your man again.
Exactly. So if that is the case, and you're not the main one anymore, what you're doing there's no invitation for you.
See with a cutlass in your hand or something, and you have a propensity to be...
Exactly. You are not a welcome guest anymore.
To be violent. You can send him home.
Well, stand your ground, right? Let me just give you these last two. Occupants have no duty to retreat or may use or threaten force to defend themselves or others. And finally, deadly force may be justified where there is an honest belief that it is necessary to prevent imminent death, grievous bodily harm, or grievous sexual assault. Those are the key provisions of that bill.
Right. So it means you can defend yourself.
Yes.
But you have the legal right to defend yourself. But you do not have the right or immunity from arrest.
Okay.
Right?
Let's go right into that.
Yeah, you don't have immunity from detention either. You don't have immunity to automatic bail. You don't have the immunity to automatic bail. You don't have the immunity to fast track DPP review.
Wow.
Protection from wrongful charging. Right? So one officer's decision can change everything.
Wow.
Right? So it depends on who's the officer on the scene and what happens when you do something in the immediate. So there are a lot of dynamics
To this thing. That's correct.
That comes out of this thing. You don't have the a killing and an unlawful killing, a murder is two different things. So you have to understand that you can't plan to kill somebody.
Yeah.
And lure them into a situation.
That's right.
And
That's
kill
right.
them. You'll get locked up.
Yeah.
You'll stay inside for long, well, forever in most cases.
So you'll have to prove that. And so we're basically saying that it doesn't remove the possibility of you going through the legal system.
So it means that a person with a firearm have a lot more responsibility.
That's right.
Than they think.
That's
if
right.
They feel that you have a firearm.
It's not just taking a gun and shoot somebody.
Somebody come and call your neighbor who only bothering you, and come and call you and say, well, hey, come and check this for me now. Come on, and you decide to take them out.
Yeah.
You will go down for life.
Now, we like to create scenarios, right? A lot of the car thefts happen, during the late hours of the morning. A man jump your gate, do whatever, manipulate the locks, and go on with your car. So you can't, in a situation like that, you are seeing on your camera somebody jumping your fence or your gate and doing hot wiring, doing whatever they had to do to start your car to go with it. Can you give it to them through the window? Bow.
Well,
is that considered a home invasion?
Well, you have the right to defend your property. And the law also give you the right, this law also give you the right to defend your property.
But that's property, that's the property aspect of the bill.
From people stealing your thing, and it gives you the unfettered right to do so. So,
but they still won't escape.
But again, the law, the court will look at a couple things in doing so. Right? Defense doesn't mean taking out a man.
Yeah.
So the court must consider the weapon that is present. The court must consider the nature of the threat, the history of the intruder. Right? All those things are important. Proportionality. Very important also. Whether the act was instinctively, so whether you act, it was instinctive, whether you act on impulse, or it was premeditated, right? So all those things the court might want to, take into consideration, right? So you had to make a convincing case
to show why
that all those things you have to make a convincing case that you would have covered all those things.
Now the opposition has argued against it as usual. Mr. Keith Scotland, he's basically saying that this bill is draconian. He is saying here, he warned that a court will be asked to evaluate whether the occupant should have retreated, and if it finds that he should have done so, then how would this person be able to resuscitate a dead person? Another comment going further, he said, Scotland asked since when Trinidad and Tobago property has been equated with life, and why a homeowner should have the right to kill someone in defense of property. He said children, the elderly, neighbors, people in domestic situations, and even disputes between landlords and tenants or arising out of land matters could result in a potentially deadly situation.
Well, you still have the force, you still have the law, and all the things that I just talk about there, the weapon, the nature of the threat, history of the intruder, and all those things will obviously have to be considered in a court of law.
Yeah.
So, you know, those questions, this is now law. So the law gives you the right to protect yourself now. Right? It's law.
Yeah.
Right? So you will have immunity in certain areas.
Yeah,
You wouldn't necessarily
but not
have
in
immunity
all.
in all areas.
Yeah.
So you still have to present a convincing argument
Yeah.
that all the things that I just talk about, reasonableness and all those things, the weapon,
Yeah.
the proportionality, you know, all those things, you still have to convince a court, right, or the police at the time, before you get charged, that all those things will consider or you fall within
Yeah.
the test
Right.
for it to be considered a murder
Yeah.
as opposed to a killing, right? Where you kill somebody because they was a threat to you,
Yeah.
and they presented themselves as a threat to you. So you wake up in the middle of the night and you see a man standing over your bed. You don't know him, and he coming at you, right? And you have your firearm under your pillow and you wet him. I mean,
What you doing there?
right? No, that might have been a boyfriend.
Yeah, but you can't come under those circumstances.
So he had to know he had to stop playing them kind of games.
Exactly. If you
Because
see,
you could wet him.
now here is scenario, eh? Scotland again raised scenarios such as, okay, disputes with tenants or situations involving a confused, vulnerable guest, a family member, a child who lingers in a common space. He noted that under Section 4, offenders can...
So you remember that case in the Trayvon Martin, that matter in, it was in Miami, in Florida, I think.
I can't remember the
I
state,
think that was
but
in Florida.
with Zimmerman?
Yeah. That played a heavy part of the analogy as it relates to questioning
Yeah.
what, you know, persons might do and how people might use this thing wrong, this new law,
Yeah.
and the power that it gives homeowners,
Yeah.
and you know, what kind or how it will be treated. I mean, people have to be responsible at the end of the day.
No,
I
we
mean, you're
thinking...
not stupid. Right? People need to be responsible. If
You have to emphasize that.
this will become commonplace just now, and this will be
Of
something
course.
people will need me talking about this just
Of
now. But things
course.
will happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And but the police, the role of the police is to, you see, at the end of the day, what I like about this legislation is that it provides, even without you having a gun, it provides the element of the would-be bandit considering before he go there that I could get sent home. If I go inside it, maybe I should change my approach, which might save lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? If I go there, I could get sent home. So my thing is that while there are obvious concerns, right, the law and the police has a role to play in creating a situation where people have a good understanding of what they could do and what they can do by the first few cases. I just say, let me just take this call. Good evening, caller. Caller, good evening.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, are you
Good
hearing me?
afternoon. Yes, I'm hearing you
I don't know
loud and
what's
clear.
going on
Are
here.
you hearing?
I'm barely hearing.
Hello?
You're not hearing me at all.
Well, I'm hearing you very loud. Are you hearing me?
Hearing you now, caller.
Okay. And you are speaking about some stand your ground, something like that? Stand your ground?
The Home Invasion and Self-Defense Act.
All right. Now, all I know, since I was born, anybody on my property take what they get. Once you come on my property, I don't know if the law has changed, but since I know I'm small, what are you doing by me? whether in fact you come for something or what, you come at your own risk because you're not at you, right? And that's why you see I stay in my lane. You have to stay in your lane. I don't know about this law what you all have now. Honestly, nobody, even if a criminal comes around, he take what he got. If a friend comes, something happens. You take what you get because remember you don't have to go by somebody. What you going by somebody to do? To talk, to lie? I know two means of communication.
So you say if your friend come by,
it's a letter.
You say if your friend come by, he had to take what you get to?
Nobody coming by me. I said two means of communication for me is a letter and a phone call. So I don't think I could beat you on the phone or beat you with a pen. So my two means of communication with you or anybody is that way. Right? So I don't know what other people, how they're fighting up that, but that's the way I communicate. So the law means kind of nothing to me. But I'm listening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stephen, let me know if we get another call. Do you remember there was an incident some years ago where a man set a booby trap in his house?
Yeah.
You remember that? Most people I talk to don't remember that.
A girl or something.
And it was, he didn't know who it was. He just knew somebody was climbing through his window
and
to take his things.
Yeah.
He catch the person, the girl hand gone off. Right? He didn't realize. I mean, she was probably teen to early 20s.
I remember that.
And
let me take this next call. That's all. We come back. Yeah. Good evening, caller. Caller. Good evening. Caller. I don't know what's going on.
All right.
I ain't getting this caller at all.
In 2023,
caller, good evening.
These things to have working cameras in and cameras in and around your compound and your residence so that whatever the narrative is, we could match back up the footage and see if it really making any sense, because we know how Trinidadians is, and in some cases it really might just be the man come home and meet somebody else and use that as an excuse. But as I say, with all the home invasions that we see in today, I have no problem with these harsh penalties and the realities that some persons have to face if they choose to want to break in and invade persons' home, right? Because it's just not right. And it's happening too often, and people need some means to be able to defend themselves and not just be sitting ducks. Because sometimes you call the police station and they want to say, if you know where St. Joseph Station is, if you're waiting for the police to come. But I looked on and listening. Thanks for allowing me.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, caller. And you know, the caller raised something. The caller raised something that is so interesting, and I thought about it. We have been talking for some time now, and I always like these are the kind of scenarios I just see when I see these things, right? We've been talking about women who just want a man and all that kind of thing, right?
Right.
And who, having children for other men outside of it, and the husband claiming it. Let's say your man come home and the next man in the house, right?
Does he have a right to stand his ground?
Does he have a right to stand his ground? You're interfering with the property.
Let me add in a source. If a woman come home and see a young lady in her bed with her husband, does she have a right to stand her ground, Stephen? No, it can't be different.
They could only be doing one thing. They share robbing, no, that woman ain't robbing nothing. Come on.
Stephen Matheson, we not doing that today.
Nothing.
There are many women.
But a man fleeing the scene. A man fleeing the scene, you're going to kill him?
Listen.
I mean, think about it.
No, I can give you an answer right now. That is not a reason. That is not a reason.
Right, so you need to tell
that is not a stand your ground situation.
You need to tell the public that the man fleeing the scene, he done commit crime and he fleeing the scene.
Right, well, he is removing himself from the situation. Right. Now, if he charge at you, that's a different story. If a conflict ensue, then something is going on there that you may have to consider the situation.
Let me take this call. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Matheson and Ms. Iwer. I'm not that familiar with the piece of legislation, and you have to read it, take a look at it before I make any sort of take a position on it. But listening to what you would have said, and Ms. Iwer, what are the possible defenses? Let's say the person, the owner of the house, the person who lives in the home, who would have taken the action to prevent the person, or probably shot at the person or cause death of the person. What is the possible defenses that person can rely on? That is what I'm concerned about.
Well, what that person could rely on clearly is it is what the court will have to consider.
Yes.
As we were just saying, is the weapon that was present, the nature of the threat, the history of the intruder himself, proportionality, of course, and whether the act was instinctively in the heat of the moment,
Or premeditated.
or whether it was premeditated. And you know, all of this, if the person meets all that test, then it makes a conviction less likely, you know. So
so you're saying that he perceived that he was under threat. In fact, honestly believed, because you spoke about it, that his life was in danger, and therefore he acted as a result of that. You're saying that he acted reasonably in the circumstances, and this is where probably you're talking about the question of proportionality, that he used no force. That is, again, you didn't take a hammer to kill a fly, right? And the fact that if the man is retreating, let's say the man is in the house and the man is in your castle, and you confront him, and let's say he's running away from you now, he's heading to the door now, and you shoot that, you happen to shoot that man. What is the situation?
well, I guess now the law also allows for a person to protect their property. So there was a part of it that talks about that. And so a man going in your car or something, you have the right to protect yourself and your property.
Right.
I don't know what kind of force you might be able to use in a situation like that to be able to do so. But you have the right to protect your property.
Right, the court will determine whether the force used was reasonable or not.
Yes.
Right. But
so at the end of the day, what may very well happen is that what may have to be considered. I mean, any killing, you will not necessarily be immune from being arrested.
But if it's an injury, so you shoot the person, they're running off, but you shoot them in their legs so that they will be able to restrain them until the police comes. That is another part of it that we have to look at. Can you even do that?
But you could shoot a man. How you know? What kind of?
Just saying, the man running off, you shoot him in the legs so that he will. Need to stay there so police will come for you.
Police looking for the biggest part of your body to shoot. You shooting? How you shooting a man? The police,
well, I don't know. You're running, so I just pointed at your foot.
All right.
Yeah,
but if a man is running away from you, is he a threat?
Right.
My question, for me, I would say there's a possibility that you can return to the scene of the crime with more than one of yourself. So for me, you might be running now, but you might plan a later attack. For me, that's how I feel about it. So I wanted to get arrested. That's how I feel. I don't know.
Well, all right, the court will decide that. But I would want to start whether, in fact, the issue, whether the person, the owner of the house, is liable for murder. Right? I would then want to state what is the law.
Yes.
The statement of the law. Then I may have to look at the facts. What are the facts?
Well, the law remains the same, as it relates to the test for murder and all that kind of thing, right? It's just that it gives the homeowner a little more protection in terms of what he or she can how he or she could use force. Right?
Well, we know that in order to bring a charge for murder, you must establish the mens rea and the actus rea.
Yeah, the mens rea and the mens rea.
The mens rea, you have to prove that the person intended to kill or to cause grievous bodily harm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But you
have to establish also that he killed the man.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you have
He
to
committed the act. Right? So he had the gun and he shot the man.
Right. So the mens rea will deal with the intent.
Right.
And therefore, in this case, the test in this case will deal with all the other things that we just talk about.
Yeah.
Proportionality.
Well, the other thing that you spoke about, that would come out from the facts, because the thing about it is that because you're talking about whether he acted reasonably, the facts will speak for itself. If they have, let's say, camera and all that kind of thing, and you're able to show where the man was leaving the home and you shot at the man, right? You're really and all these things will be part of the facts. Part of the fact is that you had a gun, how much shots you fired, and all that kind of. This part of the fact.
Yeah.
So you look at the facts, and you look at the law, and you look at the facts in relation to the law. So the facts must, in fact, fit the elements of the crime.
Exactly.
The elements of the crime that is the offense. So if in fact the facts would show that he had the mens rea, he committed the act, right? Well, then you can probably establish guilt, right? But it all depends to a large extent on the fact, what the fact shows, what the witness statement, who was there, what the accused would have said or the suspect would have said, that is the homeowner and whatnot would have said in his statement to the police.
Right.
The forensics and all these things would add up
all this is important.
in terms of evidence, and you analyze the evidence in relation to the law.
Exactly.
What the law says.
Correct. So your defense does not apply if you use grossly disproportionate force, right? Like example, revenge. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Well,
you was engaged in a criminal activity, or you was impaired by drugs, or anything like that.
Yeah.
Those things, your defense wouldn't include that per se.
Well, people can come up with defense, about whether defense that somebody spoke the last time. You have a pen, but you have a point, but whether your point sharp. You see, so you may have a point, you may bring up that as an argument, but whether those arguments could satisfy the court as to why you and your attorney would have, because you on the other side with a lawyer arguing certain points with respect to your defense, but whether in those arguments that they put up can really stand the test of time.
Correct. But the thing about this is that, I mean, it doesn't give you the absolute authority to kill somebody.
Yeah.
And, people must know that.
That's right.
Right? You have to, if somebody startled you and you reasonably believed that the intention is to harm you or to do grievous bodily harm, then maybe you can use that force. You will have to assess that in the heat of the moment. But the law obviously will look at all of that and deal with it accordingly.
All right. Well, I would have to look at the act itself to see what, Look at the bill, because it's still a bill. It hasn't gone to the senators yet.
But we're going to a break now, so when we come back, we will continue the discussion.
All right, thanks again.
Okay, so on the other side of the hour, people.
All right.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Yeah, look. Oh boy.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's radio.
You are invited to join Pastor Morris Johnson of the Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center, located at number 399 Eastern Main Road, Waiko in Sangre Grande, for the Old Time Gospel Hour Family Radio Ministry every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and on Friday evenings from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. All night prayer live on the Street 919 FM, designed with you in mind. This program deals with today's issues from a biblical perspective, and you will also be given the opportunity to call in and interact with us. Micah 6:8 says, "He has shown you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justly, to love, have mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." Your financial support through the First Citizens Bank would be greatly appreciated. Account number 795-222. For further information, call 753-1113 or 610-4673.
Nature's Touch Massage Therapy and Nutrition and Nature's Touch Youth Health Caravan invites you to join us live on the Street 919 FM every second and fourth Friday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We are located at number 3, 7th Avenue North via the Eastern Main Road, Barataria. For further information, please call or WhatsApp the numbers 398-8282 or our office numbers 241-7568 and 310-8671. Remember, at Nature's Touch, your health is our responsibility.
Oh gosh, baby, the wedding is just days away. We never booked the caterer.
Oh, wait, just now. Oh, relax, baby. I already called Michelin already. Michelin Experience.
Wait, what? When?
Sometime last week, the same caterer that did our Christmas party at work. Remember when your sister showed up uninvited and she took all the leftovers?
But one thing for sure, the lasagna, it tastes real good.
I know. They're tasty, reliable, and affordable. They even deliver. And if you want, they could cook on site. So go back to bed, baby. Don't worry. Everything done handled. Michelin has us.
Have a great night rest knowing Michelin has you. From weddings to business functions, Michelin Experience Limited delivers unforgettable flavor and flawless services. So call them at 474-2250 or follow on social media at Michelin Experience. Great food, exceptional service every time.
Looking for the ultimate weekend vibe?
Then pull up to Experience Bar,
where every weekend is a celebration of culture,
music, and pure energy.
Kick things off every Friday at 4 p.m. with the Experience After Work line.
Good vibes, cold drinks,
and the perfect way to unwind after the grind.
Then on Saturday at 10 p.m., it's time to turn up with Strictly Local Saturdays After Party.
Hosted by DJ Flex 868
and Gingerbread,
blending Trinbago's hottest hits with
global trending bangers.
And when Sunday rolls in,
we set the tone for the week ahead with Reggae Sundays.
Positive vibrations from 9 p.m. that'll have you feeling only goodness and inspired.
Enjoy drink specials, secure parking,
and free admission every single weekend at number 2 Eastern Main Road, Aruca.
This is where the culture lives and the vibes never miss. So come through, bring your crew,
and experience the weekend like never before.
At Experience Bar, number 2 Eastern Main Road, Aruca.
It's Black Friday every day at Furniture Plus. Get up to 70% off in-store and online. Shop unbelievable deals on furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more. Pay 0 installments for 90 days on credit plans. Shop now and save big at Furniture Plus.
What are you doing? It's crazy. I'm young, brother. This year I say I'm not cooking. Hey. Young brother, ask me what you're doing. Crazy, your family them go start screwing. Without food, well, the Christmas could ruin. Tell them to settle and cease. They will still get a piece. Cause KFC have a big festive feast. Well, bring all the chicken. I know it's finger-licking. And crazy, you can stay out of the kitchen and have a festive feast. A festive feast. Come lick it around with KFC. A festive feast. A festive feast. Is young brother and the crazy. A festive feast. A festive feast. It could be original or spicy. A festive feast. A festive feast. Come let me around with KFC.
Celebrate Christmas with KFC's Festive Feast. Get a festive box, 3 pieces of tenders and wedges for only $39.95. Or a festive bucket, 8 pieces of chicken, 2 regular size, and 2 portions of wedges for $159. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Building dreams, delivering excellence. That's McClatchy Construction Company Limited. Since 2008, McClatchy Construction has grown into one of Trinidad and Tobago's most trusted names in construction. From residential homes to large-scale commercial and industrial projects, we bring integrity, innovation, and professionalism to every endeavor. Our services include general contracting, design and build, construction management, restorations, renovations, structural steelworks, infrastructure development, home construction, and equipment rental. Whatever your vision, we have the expertise to bring it to life. With over 17 years of proven experience and a portfolio of landmark projects, more than 70% of our work comes from repeat clients, a true testament to our quality and reliability. For trusted construction solutions, contact McClatchy Construction Company Limited at 221-5405 or 222-5897 or via email. admin@mcclatchyconstruction.com. McClatchy Construction Company Limited, building strong foundations for a better tomorrow.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday
from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM.
Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 to 186 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program, Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on the Street 919 FM.
The Embassy Yacht is back and ready to transform your events into unforgettable experiences. Launched from King's Wharf, San Fernando, the perfect starting point for an epic experience of luxury, music, and celebration on the open water. By booking our vessel, your event will include a house DJ, state-of-the-art sound system, fully stocked bar, dedicated cleaning crew, top-notch security. This isn't just a venue, it's a floating masterpiece designed to make your event the talk of the town. Imagine your guests dancing under the stars, drinks in hand, with breathtaking views of the coastline as your backdrop. From birthdays to corporate events to exclusive parties, the Embassy Yacht offers promoters a unique platform to create unforgettable memories and boost your brand's reputation. Call or WhatsApp 399-5959 or email embassycruises@gmail.com.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Merry Christmas.
Starting November 1st, we kick off the Parang and Christmas season right here. Ready to hear your song? Email us your request at street919music@gmail.com with your contact number, and you will get to shout out your music on the air.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes, listeners and callers, on your way home, wherever you are, we are back. And before we left, we were talking about the Home Invasion and Self-Defense Act, the Stand Your Ground laws that was passed yesterday. Now, very soon, after being proclaimed, I am supposing that we will have that additional mechanism to protect ourselves in our homes. Now, there are a lot of persons who are also against this legislation, and in particular the opposition, who, and they too also have a role to play in society, and their position is that probably we needed more public consultation in it. I heard a number of speakers in the Parliament or the Senate raising the issue of the dangers as it relates to this particular legislation. So we were giving you a little insight into what the legislation does, how it adds to an additional layer of protection, especially to homeowners, vulnerable citizens who are home, and people will invade their homes and take their property and tie them up and rape them and kill them, and all the things that you've been hearing, all the brazen acts that you've been hearing. This is another piece of legislation designed to bring some kind of relief and some would say protection for those persons or citizens. What do you have to say about it? Because clearly there are some opposition to it and there's some concern to it by some people. I would like to hear what are they. We've raised, even in on the break, we were talking about some scenarios that we would like to probably have addressed, but we want to hear you also. Go ahead.
Somebody call.
Let's take this call. Yeah, caller, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
We are hearing you.
Okay, great. I'm really happy to hear that. I know you're having a little issue with the phone lines. Good afternoon to you all first and foremost. Really happy that the program is going on, and also really happy to get in and make a contribution. So I would like to start by saying the state of crime in our society, we could say reasonably that is an issue that the current government inherited. They were in opposition for the last 9 years, so that's a lengthy period of time to where any administration should have a control over a scenario. So they came into office with also the schools, the status in the schools being in disorder, but crime and social unrest on the whole, they met that situation, and I guess they have been treating with it in terms of applying state emergencies and whatnot. In terms of the stand your ground law specifically, I would say first and foremost, the first measure to treat with crime, it starts and it also ends.
Check and see if your radio on in your background.
Okay, I'll lower it down a little bit. Is it better now?
Yeah, we hear any better now.
Okay, my apologies. I would say the crime, it starts and it also ends with the Ministry of National Security, mainly the TTPS and also the other arms with the army and whatnot. And the reason why I say that is because they mention long time persons applying for FUL so that they could have that extra level of safety, which you can't really argue with based on what we have been seeing for so long. And you've also been hearing stories coming out about possible corruption within the police service. So it's understandable that somebody might want to take that extra level of caution. The stand your ground law, from what I've heard, it doesn't seem as something amazing or something that you as a logical citizen needed to hear, right? If you within your premises and somebody who you did not invite enters your premises, that seems kind of like common sense to me. Depending on the situation, you would treat with it in a least possible damage type situation. But from the start, that person who enters your premises without being invited, they're totally in the wrong. So
caller. I mean,
go ahead.
Caller, listen to me. I want to engage you here.
Okay.
Because you're saying something here, and It's frightening me, and I'm sure it's frightening other members of the public. You're
Oh,
saying,
well, please, like,
you're saying if you have an uninvited guest, someone come to check for you, you're Jehovah's Witness, you come to sell your news, whatever. You are an uninvited guest to some people. You come in my yard,
Right.
I have the right to what, take it on? That what you're saying?
No, I didn't say that. Well, first and foremost, I don't think we could use the term guest there. At that point, it might be trespassing. No, somebody who you did not
So
invite.
a little boy jumped, a little boy playing cricket or football over the road and jumped the
Right.
fence because the ball come over in your fence. You didn't see when it come over, but he calling you out, he jumped the fence and he come and pick up the ball and he going back home. That is an uninvited guest. You're saying you have the right to kill him?
Obviously not, Mr. Matheson. Obviously not.
Well, explain what you're saying, because you might be sending the wrong message. You need to read the legislation and probably, educate yourself about what it says.
I don't think the statements are made and led to that. But let me start over and stick within a little 2 minutes. You have a property. You could use you as an example. You have a property where there is a private. Now, if it's a public, like a business place, then that's totally different, right? And even like outside of business hours, you could still apply the stand your ground law in a sense. But let's just go with private homes, right? You have a home, and someone who you did not invite enters your premises. That's a breach one time. Now, obviously, that doesn't give you the right to just attack that person one time. Let's say it's in the daytime, and someone, let's say they might have a legitimate reason, right? You talking about somebody who might be from a religious faith in terms of Jehovah's Witness spreading religion. Then those persons usually don't enter your premises, right? They kind of call from the gate. If a little boy, in this case, a child, the ball going over the yard, and you just notice, you didn't see when they entered it, you just notice somebody in your yard or they scaling the wall and exiting, then obviously as a logical adult, that's a situation for you to possibly, now in the context, you could approach the parents or call and say, hey, if you do have a relationship with them, because that's kind of what you might be describing.
You saying you don't know what this person in your yard for, right? But you seen this person moving in the yard in a certain kind of way. You going and approach the parent. How you doing that, boy?
well, you call over the yard if it's neighbors and you might know the name of the person, or you just say hello, and you get the attention of the neighbor. You say, hey, well, I just noticed John was scaling the wall from in my yard. Any particular reason why? That's simple. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong or inaccurate with that approach. Because at the end of the day, and they also mention in the law that a child from the age of 7, you could attract criminal liability. So, and in my personal objective analysis, even if you're a child from the age of 5 years old, just because you're a child, don't totally absolve you from having criminal intent.
That's correct. Thank you, caller. We'll take another
address
call.
that one.
Yeah.
We go address that one.
The thing is,
I had that conversation with my sister just today, and where we grew up, we had some very young bandits, being very honest, and those little boys terrorized that neighborhood. They robbed the primary school so many times.
So you are agreeing?
No. I'm not agreeing to anything. I'm telling you circumstances. I am saying that at tender ages, we have children who are involved in criminal activity. We just need to acknowledge the scenarios that could take place. This is not a for or against, shooting on things of that nature. I am saying we need to spot the situations. Number 2, where I was growing up. So you have a call there? Okay. Where I was growing up, I remember my brother jump over the wall of the neighbor to retrieve his ball. He's a young black boy. But our neighbors were fully Chinese. I don't even know if they spoke English. I don't know. But as far as they're concerned, they were frightened because a little black boy jumped their wall. These are the realities that we are facing that can cause people to feel threatened somehow. We cannot ignore the fact that there are people who are uncomfortable with the presence of young African males. So we have to look at this situation all within a context. Feel how you feel about it, fine by me.
I saw the MP for Lavantel West was saying something.
He was saying initially he was saying that certain groups or minorities can be marginalized because of that. Because you could look at a young man and say, hey, he looking at how. That is the world that we live in right now. So, for me, this is my plea when I speak to young people. Avoid looking like an element. In my humble view. You should not be on somebody's property if they did not invite you. You shouldn't be. I have seen where people from religious communities open your gate and come to knock the door to spread the word. These are things that you should avoid because you do not know the situations, you don't know the psychological state. We know that people have high anxiety at this point in time. Another issue that we need to acknowledge, again, this is not either for or against, but acknowledging situations. We have situations where I think something recently happened with somebody was rent to own, a social media person renting to own a place, something of that nature. And she was put out. People came into her property and they physically removed her family's items. There are people who would say, you are on my property uninvited and will want to protect and defend themselves. We cannot avoid the mess that this scenario can create if we do not have boundaries. What needs to be communicated now is the same way they went around and did the public consultations. We need to have a further consultation with the communities to explain to them the boundaries under which we can apply something of that nature.
Well, the new law, has 10 changes. This new act made 10 changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of them in particular is there's no longer the duty to retreat, right? You no longer have to run, hide, or escape. If someone invades your home, you can stand your ground, right? All of this is saying that this is an additional protection you have, right? But it doesn't give you the right to just kill someone.
That's right. That's correct.
Using deadly force. You have the right to use deadly force, but it doesn't give you the right to kill someone without accepting that you should have proportionality in the way what the person, depending on what the person do, that kind of thing. So, we say proportionality. The person come with a little piece of stick. You don't have the right necessarily to shoot him with a gun.
Right. Because it doesn't fit the crime. Now, Stephen, this is the Caribbean we live in. This is Trinidad, the Bacchanal. I'm sure many times growing up you saw...
These things exist in other places.
Yes.
And exist for plenty years. In the US, for instance.
Yeah.
And you're not having what they heard the opposition in the debate claim that might happen in Trinidad. We have to be really, 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 truly irresponsible for those kind of scenarios to take place. And I'm not saying it wouldn't.
Yeah.
It will happen.
Yeah, we will have some teething with it, but I'm certain that they have to go through all the scenarios possible. As I was saying, we have a culture of that bacchanal, stand up in front of your neighbor house and curse. Coming here, especially if it's land, family disputes. You're coming onto somebody else's property and having those behaviors.
I don't appreciate those kind of analogies.
It's a real scenario.
Because it is like if you're saying that those kind of scenarios are the scenarios that could trigger the stand your ground. No.
I am saying it can trigger someone to act. Whether it's not stand your ground there.
I know, but what I'm saying is, you must have more sense to know that.
Yeah, but Stephen, you are assuming that.
Listen to where I go. You must have more sense to know that a bacchanal like that, you can't pull your gun and shoot someone.
We hope so, Stephen.
Because then it will be premeditated. They heard the caller talk about accessory and mens rea. You see the mens rea? You get charged for murder.
And that is the point I want to emphasize, because again, you cannot stop somebody from feeling threatened. If you're coming in my yard and verbally abusing me, you cannot stop me from feeling threatened. We see those situations all the time.
Right,
So public consultation.
We talking about, forget about the pop. We don't go on past that stage of like what the opposition.
But you are still assuming that people have common sense, Stephen.
Listen what I'm saying. Proportionality.
Right.
That is important. Proportionality.
But that's what we're saying. Just because the scenario is there, it doesn't give you the right. And that's why I'm bringing it out, that we have different scenarios that people will feel as though they are threatened. And in those circumstances, we are saying, even though we're drawing it to your attention, it doesn't give you the right to pull a firearm and kill someone. That's what I'm saying.
Let's take this call. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, so again, let me just throw this in the mix. I wonder if with this new legislation, it would encourage the police officers to follow proper procedure and protocols when entering persons' property, because there has been history of persons who are not police officers but in possession of police clothing and getting to people. So I wonder how they will treat with that from this standing.
Well, the police supposed to have protocols.
Yeah, and produce a warrant,
so? Police supposed to have protocols for entering people's houses, especially if you are in plain clothes and that kind of thing.
Right.
And with the prevalence of people acting as police and that kind of thing, I think it will now allow, or now there will be a greater reliance or a greater need for police to consider. Before you go in a man's place, that man might have a legal firearm inside and may send you home if you do the wrong thing.
That's a very good point, Stephen.
Where body cam?
So body cam, the need for body cam might be more important.
Yeah, yes.
The need for body cam, although a body cam wouldn't save you when you're dead,
but it will tell the story of how you ended up in that position.
Yeah, exactly.
But I agree with that, Stephen, that, you know, even with these instances of police and entering people's places, there needs to be some guidance on how this thing should be applied.
Yeah, well, as I say, there are supposed to be established protocols on how, you know, that how police enter a place, when they can do it and with what, under what authority. I'm not seeing police just running in a man's place without knowing, you know, having a good, unless we that's the Wild Wild West you're talking about. Good evening. Caller.
Yeah, afternoon to the panel there.
Yeah.
Good evening.
These people, the kukumas, and them go die a natural death. How they coming in your yard to sweep? And them is mass. They got to disguise to go back to the normal human.
You mean, explain.
The kukumas, so they come and sweep the yard for carnival.
Oh, them kind of people now, well, that are done.
I don't know what that is.
No, that is like people who play this thing.
What, jab and thing?
Yeah. Kukumas, the kukumas.
I don't know what that is.
Hats and all kind of thing and mask in their face.
Oh, so they are custom. So that's a part of the carnival thing.
Long time.
Yeah, they just walk in your yard without you saying anything.
People still do that? Okay.
They used to do it. I never seen. I know that. I never seen that was a natural death.
Well, time have changed, you know. We in our society, we have internet, we have telephone, we have cell phone, we have all kind of thing. That changed.
Yeah, they got to call the people on the cell phone and tell them they're coming to sleep the yard.
No. In times like these, you have to be careful now. This new thing, you have to be careful because anybody could have it. Anybody could have the kind of dog that could send you home.
True. That is so true.
But it's just like in the case of the police, the fake police, I think they should really bring something out for that way.
Well, police, and this, I think this is more need. This is shows a greater need for things like body cam.
Yes.
And police understanding the protocol before going into somebody's home. And
exactly. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Stephen, I just wanted to, if you have a call, let me know. I just wanted to give some quick arguments for the home invasion bill. Number one, the protection of your home as your sanctuary, right? It's your place where you are supposed to be comfortable, so you have that right. The second point is that it should be a stronger deterrent. right? Once you have that bill in place, people not just going to ups and come in your place. Another view is that there's a psychological reassurance to the public, a commitment from the government that we stand with you, we understand your need for safety, and this is why we are proposing that.
And this is where I started.
Yeah, the psychological,
remember,
yeah.
The government made some very, very significant and explicit promises.
Yes.
To the people of Trinidad and Tobago before coming, which
Yeah.
is why they were voted in.
Yeah.
And they got the majority voting them in, and it more than likely would have been because of those promises. Promises made, promises kept.
Kept, yeah.
And we've been seeing for the last few, they only here
They
for
are
about
keeping,
5-6 months.
yeah, and they have
about
been
6 months or so, and they're just checking out all the things they said that they promised to do, they're doing it. So, if you have a problem with that,
but we
then
will go into
you
that.
had to wait and vote for the next administration with their promises, and let them come and do it. They're not very good at promises, right? And the Trinidad and Tobago knows that. So, but so far, all what these people say
boxes
they're
are
doing
checking.
it. They're checking the boxes and they're doing it. So it's up to you to understand how to use it and how to safeguard yourself with it, and of course, how not to use it.
Correct. Correct.
Let me take this call.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
I just asking a question. The legislation passed or it's still debated?
Yeah,
it passed yesterday.
Okay. The passage of this legislation, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to be importing more firearms in the country and ammunition.
Well,
I don't think we have the details on that
but
yet.
you have license or registered.
I understand all of that. I understand all of that. Will we be importing more guns?
Well,
because we do make it here. And ammunition in the country to satisfy the needs of those.
If there's a need, if you know, say we could eat apples and they have a need for apple, and they are imported, we don't make that.
So,
here.
okay, so it means we will have more firearm circulating in the population.
Legal ones.
Okay, all right. You think that? Anyhow, I will stop this. Thanks.
Thank you.
Let me stop writing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Let me
course,
just.
Obviously, you'll have
So
more
yeah,
than
you will
that.
have to. Tell me. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you go ahead.
Right, and just the final point in terms of supporting the bill is that it clarifies residents' right to defend themselves, especially depending on the circumstances outlined in the bill. Now, arguments against or the concerns. The first thing is that we have a lot of tough laws, but there's an expectation for enforcement. The reality is that we have all these laws, but in terms of investigation and bringing these cases to justice, how many was the return in terms of that? We have a lot of cases that still lost in the system that we haven't gotten justice with as yet.
Well, and that's an active disincentive for doing the wrong thing and trying to kill a man using under the law.
Yeah.
Right? So if you plan to kill somebody, you lure somebody into a property and you kill them, know that you could get arrested.
You will get lost in the system.
You might get lost in the system.
But
so
that is that's for the victim.
Right?
What are we talking about? The perpetrator. Because that, I mean,
well,
it can
which
be argued.
perpetrator?
The person that enter.
The person is not a perpetrator. Then, if you lure somebody into your property to kill for the purpose of killing them, using defense, they stand their ground. That person was not a perpetrator. That person was a victim.
You turn a victim now. But you know, one argument is that we bring in all these laws, but the crimes that we are already being faced with, we are not addressing those.
You know, the biggest thing here, really, if you could qualify for a firearm, you could qualify to be a person being responsible.
Very good. Very good point. They ain't giving guns to mad people.
So if you're responsible, you're supposed to do responsible things.
That's right. So
you know you have that, including protecting your firearm, like a child in your house and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you have to know
You're
that.
viewed to a different standard.
If you feel you can't be that responsible, then
don't get a firearm.
Don't get a firearm.
That's correct.
Have a hammer or something by your door to protect yourself.
But either way, any form of force that results in a death, you will still have to account for it. So we also need to talk about releasing your dogs.
Exactly.
How about that?
Any kind of force that ends in a death.
If you have mixed breed dogs, and you sitting on the camera and you're seeing 3 men coming across and you press the button and release your dogs and them fellas and them dead. How is that going to be treated?
Well, you see, that's a question that
I guess the courts alone will be able to.
What a dog for, well? The one in your pocket that you could send them home with is a dog too, It's just that you don't hear that dog when it's back in, if you die.
But there's still you understand the kind of technicalities that will come around,
I thought you was going to ask me about if you set a booby trap.
Oh, well, then, oh my, there's that. So, caller listeners, I was telling Stephen, I think we spoke about it just before the break. There was an incident, I believe is in South, years ago. I was a child at the time, where somebody suspected people coming to take your things. And he set a booby trap, but that man was charged. He was charged, So, in situations like that, it's not a gun, but you set a trap. You're trying to catch the rat.
Well, you see, we talk, every person die, right? You see, we still, the intent, the mens rea.
Yeah. So it's the intent they will be judged on.
All of that was, so somebody coming in your house, right? And you set that trap to kill them.
Well, it's not home alone, you can't do that home alone.
Like that person was a rat, right?
Yeah,
So the answer lies in the question.
Yes.
You will still, you intended to kill that person.
Yeah, you intended some kind of harm. So they will look at that.
Yeah. Let me take this call. Good evening, caller.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is the AI guy.
Right. Yeah, Mr. Janos.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me.
All right. I love the topic that we all picked this evening. So,
what about the topic? If a man is becoming in your house?
Stephen.
What about the topic you like? You want to kill somebody? Talk to me.
Nah, I don't want to kill nobody.
Right.
Let me tell you what, I don't want to kill anyone. The law is imperfect at this time. And it is important for people who are evaluating what I believe is a positive legislative measure. They have to be mindful of the practical danger of the yet imperfect legal situation put in place. It is imperfect at this time.
Let me ask you something.
People have to be very careful.
Let me ask you something. You're an intelligent guy.
Yes.
Do you think the mischief of this act, and we all know what the mischief is.
Yeah, we know what the mischief rule is.
Just now, do you think the mischief of this act supports or outweighs the instances of the misuse of it?
I will tell you what, absolutely outweighs it. Absolutely outweighs it.
So the mischief, the reason why it was created outweighs the...
No.
So okay, explain.
What I am saying is that the legislation is what we wanted. Well, I wanted.
Right. And
the legislation...
that is because there was a particular mischief.
There's a particular problem in society that has to be addressed.
Which we call the mischief.
Right. But I know that what you mean by it now.
Right. So
what I am saying to you is, in the case of a death, the police are forced to look at the death as a standalone potential crime, either as a murder or a manslaughter.
Unlawful killing.
So, when it is that somebody exercises a right that they believe they have in law, it doesn't change the fact that the police are constrained to treat it in a different manner. The police did nothing in the law, and I analyzed the law and I shared it with you all earlier. Nothing in the law changes that a police officer is compelled to investigate, may be compelled to lay charges, and it doesn't change the fact that even if you have an affirmative defense, yes, I kill them by virtue of such and such act, It doesn't change that you are now on remand, have a record, have to raise money for bail, have to pay $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to hire an attorney to defend you. The law needs to be backed with other legislation and updates to police practice.
No, I think you're wrong.
Tell me why.
I think you're wrong. The law gives that additional protection. It gives you the authority now for the use of force in certain circumstances. If you use that force in those circumstances, what the police will have to determine, and the DPP, is if you have questions to answer. If you don't, you could go home. But you may be taken down, and I'm seeing your questions may be answered to determine that, and then if you're held for a few days or whatever, the DPP will then decide whether or not your use of force, your proportionality, and everything was in place so that either manslaughter or murder would be preferred against you. But it is not automatic that you kill a man that in circumstances like this where the law gives you the authority to do so. That
law does not. That's the problem here, sir. The law does not give the person the authority to carry out deadly force. I am saying this because I analyzed the law earlier in the day and I shared it with you all on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
The law creates an affirmative defense.
Mm-hmm.
So it is probably impossible for somebody to be found guilty where the things that are preserved in the legislation are communicated.
Correct. That's what we're saying. Right?
However, that does not.
What we're saying, all things being equal. This is why the police system, that's why the police investigation is so important. It is not automatic that you will be charged and sentenced for murder or anything like that. So don't give the impression that that is what will happen. Right?
Doesn't that have a lot to do with the arresting officer?
That's the law doesn't change in the sense that the law with respect to murder and that kind of thing doesn't change.
Correct.
Right? What changes, however, is that this law that gives you that an additional protection where somebody invades your home or come in your space and threaten you or attempt to rob you or something like that.
I want to put something to you before I give way to the next caller.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody out there listening to the law and listening to this program is at risk of standing the ground and being on remand for 6 months, or having to hire an attorney that they can't afford to beat a manslaughter case that's absolutely unfair or untrue, shouldn't be, if that even the possibility of those things exist, shouldn't the police procedures as well as the law be strengthened to make sure that the person who stands there is not vulnerable to malicious prosecution or accidental prosecution?
Well, the thing is, I could see after this law is proclaimed and the necessary regulations and everything go in place, what could possibly happen is that people will feel more emboldened to protect themselves at home. So if you have a firearm and you may be at legitimate risk, there's a legitimate risk where someone comes and someone comes in your home, they break down your door, they come in, you know they're coming to rob you and that kind of thing, and you kill them, I feel that somebody wouldn't hesitate, or they shouldn't hesitate to use that kind of deadly force.
They should be careful. As the law exists right now, all I'm saying is,
in situations
my
like
gun legal voice.
In situations like this, you don't really have time to think, you know, brother. You don't have to think whether you're doing something illegal, and that's what the law protects you against. You don't have time to think, to say, well, by the time you're thinking, you get your gun taken away from you, you're getting beat up, you're getting killed, you're getting all kind of thing. You don't have the time to think about all that. You startle, you wake up in the night and somebody breaking your house or raping your child or over you or doing you some kind of evil thing.
You don't have time to think.
You don't have the time to think. Your time is to blast them.
And in this moment, all I am saying to you, umpires, before I come off,
And that is what the law will protect you. That is where the law will protect you.
the law does not protect you. All this law does is protect you from conviction. And that is my only point. In the moment, and right now, this second, for instance, if fuel holders, if they exercise deadly force, they come, they take the report, they take away the firearm, they let the person know that perhaps there may be prosecution if they find anything wrong, and depending on the facts of that shooting, they will either tell them they have to be detained, or they may have to come in for questioning. So nothing about that changes. What I am saying, however, is that if people mishandle, maybe because they're emboldened by changing legislation, they mishandle a homicide, because that's what it is. A man dead is a homicide. They may end up on the wrong side of the law, and the law has not made provisions to protect people who may have stood their ground, whether they handle it well or not, and they end up on the wrong side of the law. So I am just saying that we need more protection.
A man dead, it might be a killing, right? A man died, it might be a killing. It may
It's a homicide by definition.
Yes, no, it may not be a murder.
It will not be a murder.
It may not be a murder. It might be a
murder is
killing.
only proven in court.
Murder will be the unlawful killing.
Correct.
Right? So
correct.
So don't mix up the thing.
I'm not.
The thing is, this law allows for you, gives you an additional protection for your family, your property, your home, and all those things. And it is clear as to what it could do or what it will do. And you have to be, as Simoya and I were saying a little while ago, you just have to be, people have to be responsible, right? And we would have identified some of the areas that will protect you, and some of the areas that, some of the things that where you will not be protected.
Okay, I agree with that fully.
Thank you so much, Sharon. And you know what? We understand that point. We understand what he's saying, because we are saying it's not going to stop you from going through the system. We did say that. You will have to go through the system.
Exactly. Let me take this call. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Moya and Mr.
Matheson.
Mr. Matheson. I think you gave a very strong rebuttal to the argument put forward by your goodly friend. And yes, as you say, if the person the incident happened in a person's home, the occupant of the home, the occupier of the home, the police would investigate.
Exactly.
And the police would gather the evidence, and then what he has to do is if he has the evidence, he has a file, he carries to the DPP, and the DPP will determine whether in fact that person should be charged or not.
Exactly.
So it is not automatic that the person is going to be charged.
Exactly.
And then the question of bail, I don't know, because usually the matter might be charged. In fact, murder is an indictable offense. And most likely it would have to go before a master of the court, who would then deal with the question of sufficiency of the evidence or initial hearing.
Exactly.
And then determine whether the man, eventually determine whether the matter should go for trial.
Correct.
So I don't see the complications. And the fact remains is that when you make legislation, like legislation is policy too, you know. It means that when you implement the legislation, you see how it works, and it is you tweak it, you could amend it.
Exactly.
So it's not something that, but I don't know where some people go with these things, and you know,
because caller, I was simply saying, this legislation would not have just come about just like that out of a hat. It wouldn't be something you pull out of a hat. There's a particular mischief. Why the reason for this legislation?
Yes, there's a almost an epidemic in home invasion.
Exactly.
And the other thing I want to speak about the question of consultation. We seem to procrastinate and delay the fact that the whole consultation been going on for more than a year since the local government election. You had this stand your ground where people talking about, which I have some problems with, open the market and all that, and people talking about home. So that has, the opposition itself had embarked on consultation with respect to stand your ground. So what consultation you want again? I think the population, this thing has been ventilated in the population for quite some time. Yes, you may need to have ongoing education of the population with respect to the likely impact or effect on them.
You see,
but I know manufacturing problems here and there. Get this thing going. You don't study the people. You have to think about the people who in their home, who throat slits and all kind of old people and all that, and you delay. You want to sit down. You want to go by Hyatt and call people from up the Caribbean to sit down to eat fat and chat. No, we don't want that.
The people
Get
who
on
ask
with
for
the
all this
business.
consultation, right? They've been asking for it all the time.
And,
the thing is,
and one point I want to make for the last, you talk about, Mr. Madison spoke about people being responsible, occupiers, homeowners, being an occupier, being responsible. The fact remains is that when we talk about the home, we talk about the castle doctrine. I think people spoke about that earlier on, coming from Miami or wherever it is.
Yeah.
And recently you had, it was racially motivated, where a white person shot a young boy who went there and he knocked the door, and she depended on the stand your ground law, the same castle doctrine, and she was charged. So it depends again on the evidence and all that kind of thing, and how it happened, and all the police would investigate and determine whether in fact it is justified or not, whether the person acted reasonably, whether there was a threat, whether and these days the question of proportionality and all the evidence that has been put before the court by the prosecution, and the defense would defend it.
Correct.
Would put their defense. So I agree with you with your the articulation of the matters thus far, Mr. Marcus. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.
All right, so the thing is, we don't want to mislead the public, but people just need to think.
Yeah, this is just a discourse that we're having here.
People just need to think. I heard the opposition and I agree with some of the things they say, but it all boils down sometimes to responsibility. Things happen.
Yeah.
And the reason why you will bring legislation like these is sometimes to curb the instances of certain things happening. I'm still hearing myself on this thing. Yeah. So the reason why you would bring these kind of legislation is to curb the instances of some of these things happening. And the challenge with some people is that some people, will delve more on the what ifs.
Yes.
And
yes.
the scenarios, the negative scenarios,
rather than
taking it. This is why I asked Janos, if one outweighs the other, right? Which one you feel is the better? If the mischief, right, is more important, or what is more important than the things that could be created outside of it, the harmful effects of it. Sorry, I'm trying to get this. Let me see if I.
Yeah, the callers seem to be still on the line.
I'm not seeing them.
While you're looking for that, I'll just do my last 2 points against, right? The arguments against. Some people believe that this is a feel-good legislation, just responding to the outcries. There's a situation, we just give a response. And some people may feel as though this is a distraction from what's happening with the U.S.-Venezuela situation right now. right? So that
this was something was in the mix all the time.
no, it was,
Right?
but you know, just the timing, everybody looks
I
at
like
that. But
I
these
like
are
this-
just comments.
I like the speed at which
Yeah.
this
So
government is
it's
going
not,
with
to
most of
me,
these
it's not
things.
rushed. It is something that it has to happen progressively, but at the same time,
But there were
you can't wait too
but
long.
there were
There were,
consultations.
from the start, there were consultations.
The thing is, the opposition seemed to be asking for more.
Correct.
No, more for what? For more of the negative.
Exactly,
More
more
of
of
the negatives
what?
you're looking, more of what you're
Yeah.
looking for. People reeling.
Yep, right. I mean, the
out
neighbors of the Prime Minister.
The amount of crime that taken place, yeah, all kind of, there are no boundaries.
No.
Right?
The
Anybody
Prime
getting it.
Minister's neighbors, and that was so crazy for me. These people are living next to the Prime Minister. Of course, the Prime Minister's residence will have police presence and things like that. So that is how bold these criminals are. They don't care that a little bit away, a stone throw away, we have some security enforcement there. They are still entering and they beat up the people and all these things. But what about, Steve, the argument about human rights? Human rights.
Tell me.
So there are some people that believe the stand your ground is too, as the minister says, or the MP says, is too draconian. You don't have to kill the person. What about that argument?
Again, if you didn't set out to kill the person, you set out to stop them.
But you happen to get killed in the
died,
mix.
right? If somebody breaking in my house, right? I sleeping in the night and somebody breaking my house, and I hear any breaking, and I sneak out, and I see you coming in, and I see you look armed, I see you in the dark, and I know you could only be you're coming in my house, you could only be coming to do harm, right?
I think
or to interfere with my property.
My thing to that.
I shoot, right? I run and I get my gun quick because I know if you reach me before I get my gun, you take me out.
No,
I shoot you.
For me, the fact that you are breaking in when you know people are in the house, it means that at some point there's going to be some kind of clash.
Well,
so on their end,
it means you coming in.
You are coming
already
into a house.
yourself.
That's what I'm saying. So for me, it throws that argument out the door.
Yeah,
you're not coming into an empty property.
You ain't coming in just to thief, or you come in to know that if you meet
If
somebody
needs
inside
be,
there,
you will give it to them.
you will give it to them.
So at what point in time do we consider the humanity of the criminal when they are not considering our humanity as
what
the
you doing inside in the
victims?
first
So
place?
that is where the argument comes in there. How could you defend them? And
some
I
of
go
them so
back.
brazen. They break kicking down your door and things like normal
Yes.
and coming in
And they are
taking in
waiting
because
until
they tell themselves
elderly
you are under
people are
protection.
home.
Yeah.
So you are not considering that if this is an elder, you give them a bad push, they fall down and hit their head and dead.
And you know the funny thing, all of them who talking, them had the protection.
Yeah, no, man. You see?
Them
So
had the protection.
it reminds me of the situation when Gary Griffith was talking about the shoot to kill situation in the past. And there was a lady that came up and said, why you had to promote shoot to kill? Why you can't just shoot them in the foot? And that, people were like, Tanti, take it down. That is madness. What your child doing in somebody else's property? If you shoot at the police, they will shoot back at you. They don't have a obligation to shoot you in your foot. So to me, the same argument applies. You are entering somebody's place without them inviting you.
The only obligation you have is to send them home.
So, and there we have it.
Send them
There we
home.
have it. You know, so, but people have a right. The long and short is that people have a
because
right
you
to
don't
protect
know,
themselves.
You don't know, you are no way of knowing if them coming to send you home.
That's right. And sometimes the bandits themselves, they may be scared, because maybe it's the first time they're doing it. So they themselves may not intend to kill, but the confrontation happens and then the gun goes off.
No, what confrontation?
I'm just saying.
You come in my house to rob me with a gun, a loaded firearm. Even if they're loaded, and I wouldn't know it's loaded. But
Exactly,
you
you
come
come in
inside
with
my
a
house, you come with
weapon.
a weapon.
So that
you
is a
come in
threat.
to kill me.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can
So
see.
the person can only assume
I
that
can only
they are
assume
going
that
to
they
be
coming
harmed.
to kill me.
Yeah.
So I have sent you home first.
And that is why, that's what makes
Woman
this
talk to
situation. That's what makes the situation so conflicting.
Go man talk to St.
You
Peter.
can't make assumptions that the other person didn't intend to kill. The fact that you are coming in with a weapon says that the intention is harm.
All right, so we are coming to the end of this hour. Strangely, what is important, this evening we will stay on this topic because there are other scenarios that we would want to bring to you, the public, but we are coming to the end of
this
this
hour.
particular hour. So in the final hour, we will add some scenarios to this discussion and be invited to call us and engage us.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Nature's Touch Massage Therapy and Nutrition and Nature's Touch Youth Health Caravan invites you to join us live on the Street 919 FM every second and fourth Friday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We are located at number 3, 7th Avenue North via the Eastern Main Road, Barataria. For further information, please call or WhatsApp the numbers 398-8282 or our office numbers 241-7568 and 310-8671. Remember, at Nature's Touch, your health is our responsibility.
Playway Parang Payday is the order to win more money for your dollar.
The Playway Parang Payday Draw is the way to win more money for Christmas. If a white ball calls, it's removed from the machine, and when the Parang ball calls, you win 28-1 on the base, plus bigger mega mix payouts. Players must be 18 years and over. Please play responsibly.
Bigger payouts with Playway.
There's some advice when you hear it. You know one time is good advice. My granny tell me a hot cup of good and natural ginger tea first thing in the morning does wonders for the body. Good and natural ginger tea in its single-size packets is excellent for flavoring your cooking, salads and desserts. But what was news for me is when my granny say a hot cup of good and natural ginger tea helps with nasal congestion and colds, stomach problems, migraine headaches, and it's really good for arthritis in the body. Made from freshly crushed ginger root to get that strong ginger taste and aroma so soothing. Good and natural ginger tea available with or without sugar, so all you need is boiling water to get a cup going. As the old people say, don't take flambeau to see the night what you could see clear in the day. Good and natural ginger tea. Good advice to start your day right.
Hey Richard, you know I have been saving every month so that I could set up a fund for the grandkids. But I would really like a place where the money is actually making dollars and cents to me.
Boy, TBLA has a proven track record of high returns. I actually trust them with my family's future. My father saved there, and now I save in there. My future is secure. Invest where you and your family's money would be safe.
I want quality and security.
Visit TBLA and find out which investment is right for you. For more info, visit tblamortgages.com. TBLA, a secure home to invest.
San Juan and environs, Fitzal Supermarket invites you to a grand Parang Lime, Corner Real Street and Santa Cruz Old Road, San Juan, featuring G Sharp and Friends on Friday, 28 November from 6:30 p.m. Bring your cooler and come. Enjoy sweet Parang music from G Sharp and Friends. Lots of prizes to be won. Best dancer, best dressed, and more. So come on out in your numbers and have a fun time. Don't miss it.
Saying goodbye to a loved one, we at Precious Memories Funeral Services know it's never easy. Let's help you with our 3 C's: class, comfort, and care. Our services include funeral and memorial planning, shipping and receiving of loved ones, pre-arrangements of funerals and cremations, bereavement counseling, drafts of wills, and estate planning. Free modern-day refrigeration for your loved ones. Open 24 hours and located at number 12 Eastern Main Road, Aruca. Call 222-0218 for more information. Precious Memories Funeral Services. Today's little memories becomes tomorrow's precious memories.
The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap pills and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
Building dreams, delivering excellence. That's McClatchy Construction Company Limited. Since 2008, McClatchy Construction has grown into one of Trinidad and Tobago's most trusted names in construction. From residential homes to large-scale commercial and industrial projects, we bring integrity, innovation, and professionalism to every endeavor. Our services include general contracting, design and build, construction management, restorations, renovations, structural steelworks, infrastructure development, home construction, and equipment rental. Whatever your vision, we have the expertise to bring it to life. With over 17 years of proven experience and a portfolio of landmark projects, more than 70% of our work comes from repeat clients, a true testament to our quality and reliability. For trusted construction solutions, contact McClatchy Construction Company Limited at 221-5405 or 222-5897 or via email. admin@mcclatchyconstruction.com. McClatchy Construction Company Limited. Building strong foundations for a better tomorrow.
Hi there, I'm Lester Suglal, inviting you to join me on the first, second, and third Saturday, 8:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the program Slow Gospel Music, and on the fourth and fifth Saturday from 8:30 p.m. for an extended version of Slow Gospel Music on Street 91.9 FM.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Merry Christmas.
Starting November 1st, we kick off the Parang and Christmas season right here. Ready to hear your song? Email us your request at street919music@gmail.com with your contact number, and you will get to shout out your music on the air.
The Embassy Yacht is back and ready to transform your events into unforgettable experiences. Launched from King's Wharf, San Fernando, the perfect starting point for an epic experience of luxury, music, and celebration on the open water. By booking our vessel, your event will include a house DJ, state-of-the-art sound system, fully stocked bar, dedicated cleaning crew, top-notch security. This isn't just a venue, it's a floating masterpiece designed to make your event the talk of the town. Imagine your guests dancing under the stars, drinks in hand, with breathtaking views of the coastline as your backdrop. From birthdays to corporate events to exclusive parties, the Embassy Yacht offers promoters a unique platform to create unforgettable memories and boost your brand's reputation. Call or WhatsApp 399-5959 or email embassycruises@gmail.com.
2026, I want to share some licks. Certain thing in the industry have to fix. 2026, I want to share some licks. Certain thing in the carnival have to fix. I ain't going no party if I don't know who's singing. I don't know who playing. I don't know who DJing. I say I ain't going no party if I don't know who's singing. I don't know who playing. I don't know who DJing. Before I pay, you have to assure me. What happened in Vibe Cartel show can't happen to me. Before I spend $1, I want to see your flyer. Who is the artist contractor? Come and mash up the sweet calypso. All you go and tell Tumbo, I say, I ain't going no Kaiser tent if you know a calypso. Sweet calypso. Yeah, Alice and Crow, before I came, you have to assure me. They will not be seeing so suggest you go away. Let's think about the country, how we can make money, how to raise a family, how to live in love and unity. I just want to jump up, hey, free up, hey, hands in the air, flags up in the air. Everybody jump up, hey, free up, hey, hands in the air, flags up in the air.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes, callers and listeners, we are back. And of course, before we left, we were talking about the Home Invasion and Self-Defense Act. That is the standing ground legislation that was passed yesterday. And certainly we were talking strictly about the legislation, what it allows for, what added protection it signifies to the people who still feel at risk of things like home invasion and that kind of thing. And of course, we were examining some of the scenarios. So with me is Simoya Sandiford, and you, the callers, you can also tell the umpires what you could be the television umpire today and tell us where we are wrong, if the catch was a catch or if it was a drop catch. Right? So, Simoya, what do you think? From what you heard so far, I want to know what are your thoughts?
So I do agree with the fact that the government has responded effectively to the cries of the citizens that there's a situation, and to me it was not just a reaction, but it was a well thought through analysis of the situations that are happening and a solution. So I would say that first. I don't think this is a Vikey thing. This is an attempt at really bringing a solution to the issues that we are having. I can't ignore the situations that could turn tragic. For example, we have a large amount of the population that are renting. We hear about landlord-tenant issues all the time. We know of situations where people get evicted, you know. So, I mean, you have to look at the bracket of persons who would be awarded a firearm, because a firearm is not $2. It's not $2.
For starters,
to start.
It might value the price of some other house.
You understand? So, for me, I don't see this firearm situation.
But the police might get the bank might give you a loan to buy a firearm.
Well, we don't know where it could go, but entering someone's property, just the principle behind entering someone's property without their invitation.
Don't go and try to buy illegal one.
Yeah, because you know what? That's not stand your ground there. You have an illegal firearm, you will have to answer for that. Because what is the weapon you use? Is it legal or not?
Politicians try to use that.
No, I think that is baloney. We can't, that's nonsense. Right? If your firearm is illegal, you might have a case there, but you're going to be charged for the illegal use of a firearm. Thank you. So you will get a charge. So let's not forget that. But those situations of conflict that we as Caribbean people endure all the time, landlord-tenant, family battles, I am still concerned about what happens if a person is able to afford a firearm and such a situation arises and they feel threatened.
So what are you talking about? You're talking about...
I'm just talking about scenarios.
Oh, you're talking about a landlord who...
Landlord and tenant coming in your place. It don't even have to be eviction, because we have some landlords that enter people's property without their knowledge.
Most landlord contracts, gives
that right.
The right to enter the property,
yes,
knowing, but it must give notice.
Yes.
So you're talking about a landlord who come in without giving notice.
Yep.
Well, he might get sent home.
You see? No, because I heard of
He
a
might get
situation
sent
like
home.
that. I know of someone who rent in a place. Now, there's no conflict. She's paying her rent,
I just
etc.
saying that he
But
might
the
get sent home.
person just going in because you feel it's your property. You have a right to go in anytime you want. And that issue needs to be addressed. If somebody is paying your rent and so on, then there's no reason for you to enter that person's property without their knowledge.
Well, yeah, because even if your landlord, if your contract gives you the authority or has allowance for you to do
Yeah,
so,
probably annual inspection, that's different.
Right, it will be for a reason,
Mhm.
and of course, it will have to be with the knowledge and the within a certain
Yeah.
time that you give notice to the tenant, and
Yeah.
the tenant should be there with you when you
That's
do that.
right, that's right.
So I can't see a landlord just going in. It's not your house. I mean, it's not your place
I
once
know
you
of
rent it out.
scenarios, eh? I
Right?
know-
So
I
a
know of
landlord just
situations.
coming in, he could be coming in to kill you.
Or for other reasons we don't know, but we
Or
have
for
some
other
sickos
reasons.
out here.
And
But the next scenario, I want you to talk about that one.
no, well, the domestic violence.
Let me go to that one and then the cable issue.
And the domestic violence scenario. Well, I mean, a man having or a woman having a firearm and you not invited home by her again, and you go in there, I don't think she has the right to kill you
Mhm.
or to use deadly force, because then that might be, it will be very difficult to prove that it wasn't that.
Mhm.
Right? Because this, you know the person, now you will have to consider everything, proportionality. Well,
Yeah.
if you know this person, why you choose to use a firearm and not call the police, or why you did he startle you, did he frighten you, or, all these things would be considered. So I don't see domestic violence, or I don't see situation like domestic situation like this. You can't use that as a defense, unless he
But let me give you this one. There's an article that's on Yanalin's page right now. Love to larceny. Boyfriend helps himself to girlfriend's money, cell phone and vehicle after a heated argument. Around 7 a.m., Wednesday, 26 November, the 37-year-old woman was at her boyfriend's home in Mackay Gardens, Belmont, when they got into an argument. Shortly after, the said boyfriend went into the woman's handbag, took her Scotiabank debit card, as well as $1,000 in cash, and her Samsung cell phone before driving off in her white Nissan March. Later that day, she received an email from Scotiabank indicating that 5,000 TT dollars was withdrawn from her account. So these relationships issues, you have a dispute, you have a little argument or whatever the case may be. I am saying, as Steve, we like to joke about it, but if you are in a dispute, in an argument, you don't need to go into the person's house unannounced.
So what you saying? You're saying that a situation and that she had the right to blast it.
I am not saying
No, I
that.
mean, you're asking that question.
I am wondering because now the argument is making you become aggressive. So in a situation like that, especially if you're in a toxic relationship, how do you respond to situations like that? If you have a firearm, you and the boyfriend not talking, you tell him, I don't want to hear from you again. And then, as you say, he come later in the night, opening the door. Come
you
in.
and I know what the legislation, all the
Yes.
text, what the
But these are
legislation
situations that happen.
But maybe we should hear what the public have
I
to
would
say.
love to hear the public's
Right?
views on that. Because toxic situations or relationships happen where that type of force and violence is taking place as a
Let me hear
result.
what this gentleman have to say. Good afternoon. Your phone is very low.
Okay, sorry, do you hear me better now?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
go ahead.
No feedback, right?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, cool. Mr. Moya, this evening, now the point series, you see, conversation so sensitive, but everything you say I totally agree with. This conversation, this topic, is extremely simple to me because I'm a simple person. I would say in capital letters, goal, you do enter somebody private place uninvited, period. So, there's not too much more where I concern with that. In terms of, having protection, based on what we have seen for quite some time, a citizen totally within their right to say they want protection. Mr. Matheson, you would have give some scenarios also, but respectfully, I was saying immediately, some of what you give sounds very extreme, but at the same time too, you don't know, because you as an average citizen, you operating in the mind of a law-abiding citizen. You don't know how these criminals might think. So you would have give the example, right? That you see a child in your yard. You might say, well, hey, it's just a child, let me approach, whatnot. But you don't know what's going on behind your vantage point. And let's be real, there are a lot of persons who use the children, similar to the conversation yesterday, we might have said a lot of women use the fact that they are women to try and see what they can get away with. A lot of persons use children to, proceed into taking advantage of people, harassment, etc. So it could go so many different ways as you're expressing, but I still maintain from the very start, it would be essential that the police in every community, they have town meetings that advertise once a while on a show like Beyond the Tape. They definitely absolutely need to have that town meeting and show that face presence. Let persons in the community know that we not just a branch down the street or a couple of streets away, that if something happen, you could call us, you could come to us. That is not the right approach at all, in my humble opinion as a citizen. You need to present yourself in a town meeting and make that connection, reconnect that connection, so that persons know, hey, there are laws, you need to abide by the laws. There may be some persons in your community who have FULs, and everybody entitled to protect their space, FUL or not, etc., etc. In my mind, all of this very simple. But thank you so much for the time to contribute, and I'll continue to listen to the conversation.
His garage, because his gate is open. He has a fence, but his gate is open. He comes out, he see the driver in the car park up, and he blasts the driver and kill him.
My God.
In his driveway.
My God.
What is Jojo's problem? What are the risks to Jojo? Because yeah. Yeah. Because Jojo kill a man who was in his driveway. Now, picture this. This is a real life situation. This really happened. And a man really is in prison up to today for something like this. How does this law protect this man that is in prison now?
Wow.
The persons who, because this law, if this law existed when that happened, Jojo might not be in prison right now.
Yeah. Because the thief in the wires.
Well, no, he didn't thief any wires. The man was in his driveway and parked up.
While the thieving was happening on the next compound.
What was going on, but clearly he was involved.
But the only man driveway unannounced. So he could also feel threatened there, because a strange man is parked in your driveway and you don't know what's their intent.
This is the question. So I know it have sensible people out there who hear this story out there listening and that kind of thing. And maybe.
No, that's still an assumption. This is very, very ticklish, because the man didn't do anything to you. but we can't ignore that there could still be a threat. What are you doing in my driveway?
Was it a home invasion?
I can't say it was a home invasion. It's probably trespassing, as you're on somebody's property.
Well, remember the act, right? The act gives you, right, broad protection.
That is interesting.
Right? The family member, visitors, neighbors, or workers helping you during a home invasion can use the same level of force as the homeowner, right? Clear legal factors to judge reasonableness. The court must consider the weapon present, the nature of the threat, the history of the intruder, the proportionality.
But the firearm is a hunting, is one that is used for hunting.
It's your gun. It's your gun.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay,
right?
okay.
But the thing is, I'd like to hear what the public have to say. And you have some very intelligent, knowledgeable people.
That is a very interesting scenario.
What do you have to say about it? Because in my opinion, I think Jojo might still have some questions to answer. Right? Was there a threat? The man was sitting down in the car. He didn't appear. He might have been going home, and he was a little high, and he decided to pull off the road, and he see an open driveway, and he decided to park in the driveway.
Right.
And rest. You want to know what this man parking in my driveway, and you come out and kill him. Do you have a defense?
I don't think in that case you'll have a defense. Just on the scenario that you presented. Now, the person may feel justified because of the nature of the crime situation.
But
a strange person in your driveway can be a threat, but there really was no threat to you as the person. The person was parked in the driveway. Not to say that they see you coming, they pull out a firearm or something like that. That was not the situation. So there could be some challenges there.
So defense does not apply if you use grossly disproportionate force. Right? You were engaged in a criminal activity, you knew it was law enforcement, like police. Your judgment was impaired by voluntary drug use, or the person had a right to be inside.
Let me add to this as you're talking
But
about the judgment.
None of that.
Outside of that?
Also, none of that was the case, and when the case that I just provided.
Because it's an assumption too on the guy's part. It's an assumption that some things you're in danger, but there was no real threat.
Yeah. So
I want to add to the caveat.
Proportionality. If you assess the situation, you come and you see a man, you assess the situation. You knock on the glass. He wake up. He bite down the glass, and he wind down the glass, and the situation is that it's just a man pack up there and he probably resting or something.
But then you realize it's really a getaway man.
And then he says, sorry, pal, yeah, I was just waiting on some friends or whatever.
But there's also, I heard of a situation where a couple came outside, well, a husband came out and saw a man sitting down in his daughter's car looking to take off. He jumped the gate and, I don't know, open the gate, whatever it is. Sit down proper in the girl car looking to drive off within that hour of the night. So it's a similar scenario. You in my space looking to thief my car. What response do I have in terms of that? You didn't come in my house, but you're in my property. You know, so I really, I guess it's circumstantial. It's circumstantial. You have to think about all the different scenarios because humanity is creative, eh?
Now, the man who did this, his son is a police officer.
Ooh. Ooh. Lock up your pops, boy. That would be hard for you. That would be very hard for you.
But really and truly, when you think of it, I still don't think it met the test.
Because it is all still an assumption.
What was the threat?
Yeah, it's still an assumption.
What was the threat level? Right?
The man didn't point a firearm at you. He was sitting in your driveway.
He was sitting in a driveway.
So, I am still saying
And
that
these are all things that people had to think about.
yes.
When
Yes.
you're thinking, well, okay, we now have the authority to, I mean, this had to come with some kind of rule book.
It does. Because people are crafty.
You must know what he could do and what he can't
Exactly.
do. And people will set up scenarios to kill you too.
Because you cannot reasonably be in somebody's driveway, they don't know you, and they not feel threatened by your presence. It doesn't give them the right to shoot at you, but I am still saying it can escalate a situation where it doesn't have to be. That's how I feel about that. Now, as you're on that, I know of a scenario where there was a tenant building. One of the tenants goes to park his car in the next person's yard, who's also is a property. There's a tenant building here, and then there's the next tenant next door who lives in a separate building. They're separated by a wall. You leave your building to go and park in the other people's yard. So the lady says to him, if you don't move your car, I'm going to lock my gate. And your car will stay here until I call the police. That escalating a situation, because as far as he's concerned, there's only woman living there. They can't tell me what to do.
So
Bad man thing.
What it escalated to what kind of situation?
Well, if she calls the police or if she has a firearm because she feels threatened as a woman that you are out there cussing her and behaving erratic, she feels uncomfortable that you are a threat to her. What happens there?
I just press the button and
Neighborly, right. So neighborly dispute. You press your button and close the gate and he started to beat down your gate, kick down your gate. What happens?
He looking to get sent
So that's what I'm saying now. We expect people to use their discretion, but we cannot rule out neighborly conflict. We cannot rule out situations where people feel as though they could take advantage of another person.
Well, the thing is, as I've just said, maybe it might have to have some kind of rule book.
Yes, it will.
Because
yes, it will.
Innocent people will end up in jail.
Yep.
People who think they're innocent because you will take plenty innocent people. Well, not plenty, but innocent people might die if people are responsible.
Yeah.
And some people might end up in jail because they think they have the right to do something.
Yep.
That they really certainly do have the right to do, because as I say, the law didn't change where murder is concerned.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The law was only strengthened for homeowners protection. Right? It didn't necessarily say you could kill a man. The test for murder still exists.
That's
Mens
right.
rea and accessory and all that kind of thing. Proportionality and use of force and threat and all that kind of thing. Those things still exist.
I think people that we shouldn't have to be going through these situations because of lack of boundaries. For you to take yourself and go onto someone else's property, go into somebody else's space, it means that you feel as though you have the authority to do so. There are situations where, for example, parking in front of somebody's gate, let's talk about those minor inconveniences. You feel that because there's a woman living there or a young person living there, you can take advantage of the situation.
So somebody come park in front of your gate and blocking you.
And refuse to move.
And refuse to move. You come out in your night with your gun in your hand.
I am not saying that at all.
If I the person who park in front of you, come out with your night in your gun in your hand, I move on.
I am raising that.
Like a mad black woman.
I am saying where we shouldn't try to escalate a situation, don't take God out of thoughts and assume that everybody will respond the same. There are some people who have no problem going to jail. You are in my space, and is either one of us is going to go, and I know it ain't going to be me.
Because you have your gun.
Because it had to be you. It had to be you.
Well,
you ought not to be in my space under no circumstance. If I say don't come in my yard, I said what I said. Whatever happen, I hope you say the sinner's prayer, because today you shall be before the throne of God.
So you...
Today.
These are Christian women talking here, ladies and gentlemen.
We are acting as if Christianity means stupidity. Jesus turned over a table and thinking, no, it's not happening. This is not the space for me to be polite to you. So it's either you or me.
So you sending them home to make you meet maker?
You asking for that. You have asked me, hey, I want to go and meet the Lord today because I'm refusing to comply with your instruction, and I am just facilitating that process.
And you think you can just do that?
No, if the situation allows for it, and I am doing all I can, and you are threatening me, and it leads to that,
so
God be with you.
You create, so this you don't think this will be premeditated. You come out and causing a, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to come out and make no confrontation.
Well-
You could have just called the police.
Well, either way, I ain't saying I had to do it. But if it is the police come and you refuse to move, then you want to go. This is your invitation
So
here.
send them home for that.
I
But
mean, I
hope
would
you're not encouraging people to do that because people will go home.
call the police. Call the police. I'm saying the average citizen in Gunnan has no gun, right? A gun is very costly.
You can't gun on a man for parking in front of your house.
No, you cannot do that. Engage the services and let the police deal with that matter. But we still have to think about the situations that arise that could lead to these types of conflicts. The point of me raising those scenarios is this. People like to provoke situations. And we are saying, don't provoke things. If in a situation like that, neighborly conflict, so on, somebody says to you, do not come onto my property, don't.
And people will still...
Simply,
people
don't do
will
it.
still feel...
Respect
that
boundaries.
There's the propensity for, say, a rich person to get away with something like this than a poor person or average person. Right? One, that person might have influence, that person might have money. And
Access to attorneys,
access to
those
certain
things.
And therefore, there's always the propensity for the rich person or the well-to-do person
To get
probably
away.
escape
Hmm.
in a situation like this. Because they might have, that person for one may have more, there may be more risk against them for somebody doing what. So their story might be more believable.
Yes.
As opposed
Okay.
to yours. Right? So all these things are things that the other human part of the legislation, the other human part of the situation that one has to take particular note of. And so I listened to a lot of the arguments. And some of them try to deal with it in some ways, but the problem is that it boils down to responsibility at the end of the day.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
It boils
I
down
think
to
responsibility on both sides. For the,
No, well,
you
you
say
can't say
assailants, you cannot...
The assailants is not a responsibility. I mean, you just a responsibility. You telling, okay, so you're a thief, you're a bandit, but this time now that you know it have this letter, you had to be more responsible because you could die. That's what you're saying?
I am saying...
No,
I don't want to, Stephen, I don't want you to say it.
You think them thinking all that?
You need to consider, do you want to live or die? Let's say it that way. You need to consider those factors. You can enter a house and it will be the last day on the earth.
Then you should be thinking that, hey, crime is not, maybe I should choose some other profession.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
So get work honestly. Do not enter people's homes.
I mean, it's a serious health and safety situation for me as a criminal now. And maybe I should consider some kind of insurance, or they should consider some kind of occupational safety law for and health act to help me, to safeguard me from people who might want to kill me.
Magnets Association.
I just say because that's not a good profession to be in right now.
That's right.
In
that's
the next
right.
year or so, that wouldn't be a good profession because
it's risky.
Anybody could lick it
Could
up
have it.
anytime,
That's correct.
right?
That's
you
correct.
wouldn't want to just grab a man chain and run and that.
Nah, you could get it right there.
You could feel it, or
Yeah.
anybody could hit it.
Exactly. So we have to make responsible decisions. And for the homeowners, you can't just kill someone. You can't just take somebody else's life. Consider that you will get arrested and they will have to go through the process. How long it takes, we don't know. These things are still unfolding, and as the government finalize things, I'm certain they will share with the public.
No, this is a homeowners act to a large extent,
Yes.
right? Protection act, right? But I'm thinking if I am on the street,
right,
I have a legal firearm, I have a firearm on me, and I see a friend of mine getting robbed, or I see somebody getting robbed, an innocent person getting robbed, if I could protect that person with a firearm.
We need a legal person to come in here and answer that question.
I don't know.
We need a legal person to answer that question, because even...
A criminal attorney.
Yeah, it will be really good to hear those views. Even a business where some kind of robbery is being attempted during the course
law
of the
protects
night,
the law,
and the security give it to them.
Oh gosh, that is
Just saying.
That is without saying that what you're paying the
So
security for.
right, so they're doing their jobs.
Yeah, they're paying the security
But the
for.
issue here is now when it comes to the homes, how do you protect yourself and stay on the right side of the law? So it's been a healthy discussion, folks.
Let's
We
take
have
this
a call?
Good evening, caller. Caller.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
And everybody in Trinidad, to you all, and all the people in Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of the world.
Yes, thank you.
They set up a concealed carrier association down there already.
Concealed carrier?
I didn't hear.
I say they set up a concealed carrier association.
No, we don't have that. We don't have that here.
You don't have that there?
No.
Okay, well, it had to have somebody to defend the whole owners or some association that when you involve in a shooting, you call the association who will take the case immediately with no question. You understand? And prepare bail for you and everything. You see? And the majority of people are here saying, well, this violent. Probably they never get a gun put to their head, or they never in a situation where somebody walk in and say it's a hold up, and you have a firearm on you, and you have to release. They never been in situation. Plenty of people, when you're in situation, you don't know what could happen.
Correct.
People come in and say, but hold up and all kind of thing, and you studying, you don't know if you'll die. You don't know what's going on. If everybody getting killed here today or whatever the case is, you studying, you releasing. I mean, they say there is people who can't release at all. Like they have the firearm and they cover to shoot.
Correct.
You understand? You're intimidated to pull it out. Having it is one thing, but preparing to take a life is a whole different ball game. Because most of these people who are going to break in and do all of that, you don't know what influence they on that. Drugs, madness, alcohol. They could be under the influence of all kind of things. So they're afraid to kill you. Okay, talk to you later.
Thank you so much. As he raised that point, Stephen, there are instances where people have mental health issues, and it causes them to go off in a kind of trance, that type of situation, and they break in or try to enter your property for that reason. We have to consider that as well.
People of St. Anne's could let them go and let them go. If they want to take care of they want to reduce the population of the. Let them go and let them.
No, that's a real thing,
because let people take care of them in that kind of way.
They are no. St. Anne's is not big enough. I know, we just kicking about it, but St. Anne's is not big enough to hold the many people who suffer with mental health issues, and there are a lot of people.
That might be more. What I just say might be very insensitive. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Because they say mental health, and that's you have no control over.
You have no control. So that's the angle I'm coming at. This person is not operating in their right mind, but they are going off of whatever scenario that is building in their heads. They live within the community and they decide to jump in your gate tonight. That is not a decision they really made for themselves. So how I would love to know how they treat with situations like that, where persons really have mental health challenges and they have that one time they trip completely off and they let loose, they jump your gate, they're mashing up something in your yard, something like that. I would love to know how the law would treat with that person. You just never know. I guess they may just carry them.
The thing is,
but should you pull out your gun?
This happening home by you, and you don't know that.
Yeah, you don't know this person is mental. You're now moving the area. You pull out your gun and you give it to them. How does that,
No, well, everything has to be investigated.
Yes,
and,
correct.
When that happens, it will be investigated, and then
but the shooter will still be.
The police will be able to examine reasonableness, proportionality, and all the other things that we spoke about earlier on.
But what is sad about this, again, is that the shooter or the person protecting their home will still be in the safety system.
You know what? We talking a lot. But all these things existed before, you know. These existed to protect yourself, and the right to protect yourself has existed before. It's just that it didn't have, you didn't have that kind of legal protection.
Yes.
But you had the right to protect yourself and to self-defense. It was interpreted differently by the court.
Yeah.
The thing is, now you have a legislation which
that
spells
makes the
out
provisions.
the particular provisions and spells out exactly how you can do that. And then the use, the availability of firearms, hopefully easy. Once you fit the criteria, will also give you that added protection. That's what it's about. Caller, good evening.
Yes, sir. Pleasant good afternoon to the Empire and to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, good evening.
Now, I think that stand your ground law, I think more people, plenty people get in trouble with that, you know. Yeah, because I see in America, they're reviewing, in certain states, they're reviewing that stand your ground law. Because I don't know if you remember a case with Rick, I think it's Mr. Rick Chow, who owned a gas station in South Carolina. And he had a son. Some 14-year-old guy came in and stole water. And he ran out. And he and his son ran behind him and shot him. Right? And in the courts, they tried to do stand your ground law, protection law in that case. And he lost the case and he was charged with murder.
Right, so it's the same thing here, right? Because the rule, the test still exists for murder. So if you feel you could use the standing ground legislation or act to murder somebody, it will not work. Because the test is
right.
there.
So what I'm trying to say,
so people,
you know how Trinidadians are.
Yeah.
Now, they decriminalize marijuana, right? They say you can smoke any amount of food. They say 4 plants per person per house. Just this morning, I saw a young guy smoking a joint outside a gas station. But it was on the pavement there. Was outside the gas station. Now, he could be apprehended. But he there and he's smoking away. Right? So, I think that Tanya Brown thing will cause that same kind of effect. You can't pass that kind of law here. Because you already have one to defend yourself if somebody coming out. And I heard they say that the elderly.
But call the law
right?
passed.
You have the elderly. Alright. Who training these elderly to keep firearms? Because if they qualify for legal firearms, right? Where they training? You're talking about elderly people, you're talking about them.
Who handshaking and thing, you might,
right?
you might just pick up more shots.
Right?
The handshaking.
But you had to do the assessment to get it anyway, ain't it? Yeah.
Right. You understand? So and for adventure they get to, they have to go on some kind of training. And some elderly people, they walk with someone in wheelchair. So I find that is a kind of dangerous kind of law, right? But I'm not in charge, right? So I don't see how things will work out. I thank you all very much for the contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah, just provoking thought, we understand.
No, a lot of people have, it's interesting and it's important also, because a lot of these things would have come up in the consultations. I heard some for myself, and they are very, 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 very potent arguments to, you know, to analyze the whole situation. But at the end of the day, it have to do with response. You must know what is a threat.
Have to be responsible.
You must know what is a
That's
threat.
right.
And
That's right.
And you see, the thing about threats is that you just kill a man and the police arrive, right? It's difficult for you to, unless you really plan this thing out in a certain kind of way. It's very difficult to get away from.
That's right. That's right.
Murder.
That's right. You still have to answer questions, and
Of course.
you know the police have to do their jobs. They have to investigate everything, and just note you might be sitting down in a cell for a little while.
Yeah, we might find out that this man, this is not the first time this man come here. He accustomed frequenting your place. This might have been your friend.
So the arrest will
well
still
known to you.
happen.
You know the man. When he came in, the camera showed that he was knocking. Right? The accustomed coming in your house. Right? You knew he was there. You knew it was him. So all these things, or a woman coming on your by you unannounced, you keep telling her, hey, don't come by me unannounced.
Huh.
Don't come by me unannounced.
And she wants to show you how crazy she is.
And she just show up. And you say, you thought it was somebody breaking in your house. And you blast you blast her. Yeah?
Oh my Lord.
I just
So
say,
now, you know, we have to think about it because Trinidadians are Trinbagonians are very creative. And why I say that, remember during the first, is it the SOE or the lockdown? No, the COVID, when we were on the lockdown and things like that, and people were finding all sorts of excuses to go out after the curfew hours. People were finding reasons, and you know, Dr. Rowley had to say, well, why you don't want to stay home? I realized we are so creative. We will find loopholes in everything.
You just want to stay home with your husband all the time for COVID. You want to stay home with your husband all the time, boy?
I am going to plead.
I
am pleading the fifth. I was working in a disaster management agency, so I was working.
You found that reason to be outside all the time, right? just asking.
I didn't have a choice. I had to go to work. Yeah, but you know, it's just about being responsible people, and that's all we're saying. We may have a little jest in between, but either way, there is no reason to take someone's life just like that.
Caller.
Hey guys, Peter touch back in real quick. You know, I would say we could go on and on for days and weeks about different scenarios and whatnot. But if it is a situation where even if you're within your right, however it go, the police would still need to get involved to investigate and get all the facts. If that is a reality, then I feel strongly based on that side, they should be involved from the start. You know, which is why I say they should do it in a proper manner based on the climate we have been especially. So you can't just say, well, hey nation, you're within your right to stand your ground, full stop. You know, people might handle it all different types of ways as we considering here. So they need to have the community meetings, just get that sense of understanding first and foremost, do it in a proper way. That is my contribution. Any engagement from you, Mr. Matterson?
Well, no, I think you're correct.
Yeah. Well, all right. Great topic you're doing, but I mean, we could really, if you think about it, we could go on and on with different possibilities. So that's why I say they need to, you know, treat it in a proper rollout.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we swiftly coming to the end of the program, but we started off by examining the Baton side and to some extent the comments of the feeling side, because they were very, very vociferous in denouncing in some aspects the piece of legislation, and that is, they would have said that maybe the government should go back out for consultation, public consultation on the matter. The thing is, as we would have said, even with the Venezuela issue, that the government did make some promise before getting into office. And those promises would have led to the question of, to some extent, the protection of Trinidadians against crime, and the kind of hideous crimes that are taking place in terms of narcotics, illegal drugs, the illegal drug trade, human trafficking, and all that kind of thing. And so every time you hear the Prime Minister talk, amidst all what is said about the Venezuela docking and their ships out in the sea, the Caribbean Sea around Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela, her defense, for the most part, is always that of Trinidad and Tobago and the trafficking of drugs. So she was always, she remained constant, saying that
zero tolerance to crime.
Zero tolerance to crime, to that extent. And therefore, as things get harder in the country and in other countries neighboring us, and people come in and you have different scenarios where people are trying to survive and probably doing illegal things to do so, you would have the greater prevalence of crime.
Yeah.
The thing is, all that they have promised, you see an active focus to address them.
Correct.
One of them, we've seen a number of them over the last few weeks, but one of them is the stand your ground legislation.
Yes.
Right? And that is something clearly they are addressing, and it is another promise that they said that they would keep, and it looks as though they have kept it.
Yeah, yeah.
And there are several others that they spoke about. I am still waiting to hear what they're doing with labor in particular.
Yes.
And the IRA, that's one of my pet peeves. I think the IRA has to be addressed. The Recognition and Certification Board, that has to be addressed. I think they are doing a massive injustice to workers. The Trade Union Act, to a large extent, the IRA, the Industrial Relations Act, all these things are things they promise that they will deal with. And I really do hope that they are, just like they are addressing the ones that they think are very, very important. I see those things also are very important. Because if you have industrial peace and you have legislation to support industrial peace, you have legislation to equalize the situation with respect to productivity and how you negotiate, pay for performance and all these things. All these things will assist in building Trinidad and Tobago, the future of Trinidad and Tobago, putting us in a different place. So the industrial relations system also is a very important part of the national fabric of Trinidad and Tobago. That revolving economy, right? So that too is something I would like to see addressed as part of one of their promises. And the stand your ground legislation, for which we spoke of today, to me is another area, another layer of protection.
Of course,
added for the vulnerable to assist in crime fighting. What is your position?
I agree. I think it's a great opportunity. I'm concerned about the opposition's lack of support. I understand the arguments, but I still believe that there should have been showing the public we are coming together on this issue. It is in fact an issue, and yes, we have some concerns, but we give that support. That is my concern with this whole thing. But I appreciate the government actually making an attempt to address the issue.
Right, and that's what again marks for. Right? They're making an attempt to address certain issues, and they have solutions.
Yes.
We hear about all kind of anaconda and operations, big fish and operation, big shark and operation.
They're working.
All kind of thing you hear about under the last administration, but you still see crime was climbing at a rate which was astronomical. I guess if they were in office, we would probably be about 800 now, right? So
let's support where it needs to support.
We had to support something. Something had to work. Right? Let's see if this works. Let's see if this will add that layer of protection it promises to add to Trinidad and Tobago. So, ladies and gentlemen, certainly you will see us tomorrow. Tomorrow is a 2-hour session, and we look forward to you joining us and for selling us.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.